big India Today exclusive. We are getting you the top pointers as far as the economic survey is concerned as well. I just want to walk our viewers once again through all the pointers that are just coming out. We already mentioned about how India stays the fastest growing economy, India third largest economy in terms of purchasing power terms. Number 3, economy gained what it lost during the COVID period. Number 4, inflation will not deter consumption or investment for that matter. Now the US rate cut, interesting, the 5th point is that the US Fed rate cut is putting pressure on our currency, which is the rupee, is what the survey mentions. And number 6, the borrowing cost to remain high. Number 7, current account deficit, or CAD as we call it, that's likely to widen. And whenever that widens, you do know there is a direct impact that comes on the currency as well. And this time around, the rupee may just fall into pressure if the CAD widens further. And the economic survey does mention that the current account deficit, which is a CAD figure, will widen. Number 8, India's pandemic recovery was quick, and Rahul just mentioned how we've been very resilient as an economy. Number 9, growth has been backed by domestic demand and by investment. Karishma Asudani also is joining us. Karishma, 2 things as far as the common man is concerned. Number 1, RBI projecting inflation at 6.8%, well above what is comfortable, which is within 6%. And number 2, the current account deficit may widen as far as the economic survey is concerned. Now, will that directly put pressure on the rupee, and hence it becomes a double whammy for the common man?
Well, Shetty, you know, the 2 points that you've just mentioned, they hint towards the fiscal consolidation task and challenge that the government awaits. Now, in terms of the current account deficit, it's clearly evident that the deficit has widened is also because of the fact that we have had really good direct tax collection numbers in the past year. It's evident that in the past 10 to 12 years, this has been the highest collection seen so far. Now, if you talk about the economic survey, we are looking at a growth of close to 6 to 6.8%, which is also closely what the IMF has predicted last night, and the RBI is also on the same page. So if you look at and draw an analogy with how it has been in respective to the other countries on a global scale or on a year-on-year basis, India is not in a really bad position. Yeah. Even if you talk about inflation compared to the West and what is happening in China, we are doing fairly well. The big challenge is going to be tomorrow, because the question we must ask is, will Madam Nirmala Sitharaman consider relief to the rural sector, relief to the salaried class? Because if they do, then that is cut short of further revenue fall, which will again, of course, impact the kind of fiscal deficit and growth rate that the country is looking at.
Right. So we can probably, Rahul, see a fiscal deficit target being missed in case there is some sort of a relief that is coming in for the working class, the salaried class and the rural economy as well, because that really puts pressure directly on the exchequer if we have to go by that, Rahul.
Yes, Jyoti, if I enlist, I've been speaking to sources. What is the government's challenge? It is a very delicate balancing act between fiscal prudence, stimulation of growth and revenue, and also political course setting. Now, this is like getting all ends of an economy together in one place. I think Nirmala Sitharaman, presenting her 5th budget, if I'm not wrong, has a very tough task cut out. So now, what are the elements that we are talking about in terms what's expected? Or what could be idle? In fact, with the Modi government, one never likes to hazard a guess, because this government loves to surprise the journalist. I think the middle class is looking at certain amount of the ATC limit. That means the slabs or taxes to be altered a bit. I think over the last so many years, it is the central government which has provided a lot of sops to various sectors, segments of the economy in terms of the industry, the farmers, the poor and others. I think this middle class addressing does need a certain amount of rework. Then there is industry. Industry is expecting a lot of tweaking. I've spoken to so many of them. For example, fintech is looking for help vis-a-vis the SMEs. Paper industry is looking at cutting down in taxes so that they can compete with plastic. MSEs in tier 3 town are looking for digital banks and other favors. There are banking frauds, people want changes in that. PLI scheme for chemical sector. Then, for example, travel and tourism industry wants that there should be certain amount of special industry status so that they can recover from the COVID and Ukraine-Russia wars shocks. So the government task, on the other hand, is job creation. You can see the opposition is already biting at the heels of the government, pushing that there is rampant unemployment in the country. So job creation is a big problem. Now, job creation comes when there is capital investment. The private sector still remains sluggish, though the economic survey talks about certain green shoots being visible in the private sector. But so the government's capital expenditure, which it says has grown 63% in the last few years, needs to go up. Then the government is likely to push in more into the agriculture and farm sector. That's one segment I think we need to watch out as far as the budget is concerned, because if there is a vote, it is the farm sector. If there has been an agitation, it is in the farm sector. I think that part of the economy, the government will like to tackle economically and politically.
And that's interesting, you know, because when every sector like that is expecting a lot from the government monetarily as well in terms of benefits, Karishma, the big question here is, will India